everyone, and thank you for watching VATV. My name is Kate Nguyen, and hosting with me today is Diane Nguyen. VATV is the voice of Vietnamese Americans in the greater Boston area. It is sponsored by VAT8, Vietnamese American Initiative for Development. The first half of our 1-hour weekly program is in Vietnamese, and the second half is in English. You can watch us live every Wednesday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Channel 9 if you have Comcast, and Channel 15 if you have RCN. You can also go to bnntv.org to watch us live. And if you happen to miss our live television program, it will rebroadcast on Sunday at 5 p.m., Monday at 1 p.m., and Tuesday at 11 a.m. To watch any of our TV shows, please go on to our home website at vit8.org. And I would like to have Diane
Hi, good evening, and welcome to BNN VATV program. Kate and I, we are welcoming our special guest, Mr. Filipe Oliveira, the president and owner of Percival Beer Company. Welcome, and thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. Filipe, how about just introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Filipe Oliveira. I am the president and founder of Percival Beer Company. We recently launched a couple of brands in May of 2013, actually this year. Our company focuses on developing craft beer brands for the ethnic communities, especially ethnic communities within the Dorchester neighborhood. So we try to develop brands that can represent each individual community and bring to the forefront their culture, their identity, and their contribution to the city of Boston, and particularly the neighborhood of Dorchester.
Great. Where are you from, Philip?
My background is Cape Verdean. I grew up here in Dorchester. I lived in Dorchester all my life. I recently moved out of Dorchester about 3 to 4 years back. I currently reside in Milton as we speak now.
Great.
Yes.
That's a great story. You came from Europe, from Dorchester, and you now want to bring back the good thing to Dorchester. How about tell us about the Percival Beer Company?
Sure.
When and how and when it's founded?
Absolutely. About 4 years back, I would say, I was at a barbecue at my sister's house, and we had a lot of craft beer and just regular commercial beer around the house, and everybody was having a grand old time. But to me, it struck me kind of odd as to why we never really had a beer that we could identify with. A lot of the beer is kind of focused more on mainstream American consumers, what tends to be more, it depends on which brand you watch from a commercial standpoint. You can have the cowboy guy in the Midwest drinking the beer, or you can have the young urban professional in the beach drinking a beer and having a grand old time. So I felt there was something missing there. We need to bring something to the market that could represent other cultures. And that's when the concept for Percival Beer Company came around. After that, we started working on recipes to try and bring some brands that we felt like were a representative of the community. It took us some time because it was a challenging effort because we had to find a contract brewer that would essentially take our recipes, manufacture the beer for us, and we would be responsible for marketing and distribution. A lot of the breweries located within the state of Massachusetts were at full capacity. Plus they had their own brands that they had to worry about. So they weren't necessarily concerned with taking on a startup. After about 1 year to 2 years of searching and trying to do some more research on craft beer industry, we found an excellent brewing company in Holyoke, Massachusetts by the name of Paper City Brewery. Those guys took us on as a startup. They started brewing our brands, and we were lucky enough to have everything situated that we can bring those brands to the market. The last piece we needed was our distribution license, which would make us 100% independent. And that was actually obtained in the month of May of this year.
Wow, us how the Percival Beer Company starts.
So you started the company the beginning of this year, right?
Actually, we started the company back in 2011, but we didn't release the brands until May this year. It took us some time because we actually had to find the contract brewer. There's a lot of regulatory issues we had to address also on the federal level and also on the state level. There's a lot of licenses that has to be in order before we can proceed with bringing the brand onto the market. And plus, we had a challenge, a big challenge actually, because we were trying to find distributors for the brand. We said, we found an excellent niche within the craft beer industry that can be exploited or that could be utilized to increase revenues or just increase the popularity of craft beer. And a lot of distributors just felt like it was not a good business strategy to try and introduce unique brands to specific ethnic markets. There was concerns about the availability of disposable income there. But we thought different. We felt that the ethnic community was a strong consumer market. And if we could bring something to the market that they can relatively identify with, then that would be an excellent business model.
Yeah, so you took a chance, and then you've been having a lot of success.
Absolutely.
With it, yeah.
We took a huge chance. To bring a brand to the market from beginning to end, it usually costs between $15,000 to $20,000. We took a huge risk. We brought 2 brands onto the market, and right off the back, the brands were really, really popular. People gravitated towards it very, very quickly. Once again, our brands are designed in a way that when you walk into a store, you can gravitate towards it right off the bat because there are images in there that you can identify with. If you're from Dorchester, if you're a Cape Verdean, Spanish, Vietnamese, you can automatically look at these brands and say, the triple decker. I grew up in Dorchester. I'm really fond of the triple decker. So it's been really, really good.
So which brands have you launched, and can you tell us
absolutely.
more about
I'll
those?
show you a couple samples here. Our flagship brand is actually Dot Ale 1630, which is a pale ale. Style is an Old English style pale ale. It's an excellent brand. It's in direct competition with, say, Samuel Adams Lager or Harpoon IPA. It's an excellent brand. This is our most popular brand right now as we speak. We've taken it to a couple of events and craft beer festivals, and the feedback has been tremendous. We tend to have the longest lines at the festivals. We have a lot of rabid fans. They follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram. We're constantly addressing fans, asking for samples and T-shirts and glasses and hats and all kinds of stuff. So it's really amazing. Our second brand.
Dot question. Dot is represent for Dorchester?
Yes, absolutely. Dot is the nickname of Dorchester for a lot of people that don't know that. Ale is the style of beer. And 1630 is the year that the town of Dorchester was incorporated into the city of Boston. So Dot Ale 1630. The image on the package is the quintessential triple decker, and we tossed in the Dorchester Avenue sign.
We have caller. We have caller want to have a question with you. Viewer, you go right ahead and have a question.
Good evening. My question is for your guest, and it goes like this. Do you give back to the community?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
Do you give back to the community? Do you do any charitable work from the proceeds of your business that you give into the community?
Well, yes, definitely. We're looking at, once we reach certain sales marks, we're looking at contributing about 10% back to the community. We try to identify charitable organizations within the community that can benefit from that contribution.
Thanks.
That's great.
Thank you.
Talking about charity, you just hold a fundraiser at the Franklin Zoo Park.
Yes,
recently?
yes. Franklin Park Zoo had their 4th annual zoo, brew at the zoo, which was a combination of about 20 different breweries and also about 20 to 30 different type of eateries that just came out and provided small samples to some of the participants. It was a cover charge, I believe, about $40 to $50, and most of the proceeds went towards the Franklin Park Zoo system to help them maintain the park and continue to keep it open throughout the year.
How did the people attend that event? How did they respond to you there?
It was overwhelming we got there around 4 o'clock. We finished setting up about 5 p.m. and the gates opened. And for about 5:15 to 9 o'clock at night, we were swarmed. We were the most popular brand there. Again, once people started seeing the brand image, they saw some of the images, they knew they could gravitate towards it, and they thought that, okay, right, these guys are local. These guys are from Dorchester, and they want to provide a product that represents us as a community.
The brand name, who came up with the name and the design of
Sure.
the brand?
Absolutely. The name, I actually came up with the name myself. I spent a long time trying to figure out exactly what name to give a craft beer from Dorchester, what kind of name to give it. A lot of people wanted me to use the name Dot Rat, which is a term that's been in Dorchester for a very long time. But I just felt like people won't be compelled in buying a beer or a beverage if it had the name Rat on it. So we wanted to do something totally different. To be honest with you, Dot Ale 1630 sort of fell into my lap. I did a lot of research on the town of Dorchester, the history of Dorchester, and that's essentially how I came up with the number 1630. But as far as Dot, I could remember way back going to the Dorchester Day Parade, and I could remember people wearing T-shirts, with the nickname Dot on it, and it just kind of clicked. It just kind of fell into place.
Yeah.
What other, we are exciting to see what other products you
Sure,
have.
absolutely. Our second brand is also a very popular brand. It is called, which is called Compadre. Compadre is a word that is used in a lot of cultures, but particularly in the Cape Verdean culture, it's used to kind of describe the bond built amongst, family members and also friends. If you really want to look at it, it's also a word that if you and your friends are sitting in the back porch and you're having a grand old time, you're about to drink some beers during the summertime, you can say, "Hey, compadre," "Hey, goes my friend, hey, goes my girlfriend, have a seat, let's have a great beer and sit down and talk." And Compadre, basically we introduced it around, I would say probably around April, we introduced this brand. We also introduced a huge billboard that's in Upper Elms Corner, which is visible to everybody. And once again, we wanted to bring to the forefront the Cape Verdean community. We wanted to showcase their contribution to the Dorchester neighborhood. And the best way to do that is to have a specific product for them that they can appreciate.
That's nice. What difference between the taste between the Dot Ale and the Compadre?
Sure. Compadre is more of a lager type beer. It's a light, crisp beer. It's a beer that's really drink during the summertime and during the hot weather. It's kind of like the brands that most of us are accustomed to, such as the Coronas and the Heinekens. It's relatively light, not too bitter, so it's not going to be overpowering. It's very consumable. Dot Ale, on the other hand, is more of what they call a pale ale, English-style pale ale, meaning it's a beer that has more hops involved. It's a little bit more bitter, but we created it so when you're drinking it, it goes down very smooth, and you don't get that bitterness until the very end. And it tends to combine with such as meat dishes, which is really good to eat with barbecue and steaks and all that good stuff.
The food complements.
Yes, and the lagers usually for like the seafood, the lighter type of plates when you like with salad and stuff like that.
So how did you come up with the taste for each brand? Like you have to go through like the process of testing and all that stuff.
Yes, very much so, and I think my wife can attest to this. We went through many of times. We went through these test procedures in which we ordered tons of grains and hops, and we would test different types of batches to see what the taste actually was like and how it came out. We didn't want something to be overpowering, but we didn't want something that was going to be too watered down. We want something right in the middle that was very consumable. The whole idea behind the company is to develop beer that can introduce the commercial drinkers to the craft beer movement. kind of create that little bridge that's missing right now in the beer industry. It's either your craft beer or a commercial drinker. There's nothing in between. And we would like to say we're the company that's in between creating those brands.
Very nice, very nice.
Yes.
So the other products coming up to the market?
Yes, we're very excited. We have approximately 3 other brands that's be coming to the market. One is going to be called Mad Jack IPA. That's going to be a brand named after John Percival, or John Mad Jack Percival. He was the last captain of the USS Constitution, and the street that I grew up on, which is on Percival Street, is named after him. So that would be somewhat of our Samuel Adams for Dorchester, more or less. And then what I'm here to actually talk about today is actually Saigon Lager, which we're very excited about, which is supposed to be coming out by November. And that's going to be...
Can you show us that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. This is going to be Saigon Lager. Here we go. It's going to be also a light lager, very crisp, not too hoppy, not too bitter. It's going to kind of follow the style of the Vietnamese beer market, which is fresh, local beer, but not something that's too heavy. Something that can be easily consumable with food.
Great.
Yeah.
What make you choose, the desire the Saigon Lager?
Sure.
I just want to know.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to focus primarily on the Vietnamese community and not only what they've done from a contribution standpoint to Dorchester, but also celebrate their culture in general. So we incorporated the flag, the Vietnamese flag here, which you see yellow with the red stripes. We also incorporated a small image down here of a fisherman, which is typical of the fishing communities in Vietnam. And we put a few texts up here, meaning handcrafted beer.
That's great. That's
Yes, in Vietnamese.
We love them all. We have little time left, and
Sure.
And thank you so much. We wish you with all the luck, success for the Percival Beer Company.
Yes.
And we look forward to try out this beer.
Great. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
on our show.
Thank you.